This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Happy Wednesday, everyone, and good afternoon. You're listening to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. This is the one and only place where we give you a quick roundup of everything that is happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and around the world. Lots and lots is in store right here on today's show as we talk about Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. It's the conference that many of us wait for very patiently because we are going to be listening to all the different products that they're going to be announcing and releasing very soon.
Yes, and we're also going to be talking about the next step for the Hope Probe Mars mission that the UAE has launched quite a couple months ago. And now we're finally going to be knowing what's the next step for that probe.
Yes, indeed. Coming up on the show as well today, today's a very special day because we are going to be witnessing the supermoon, the flower supermoon in the UAE skies and all around the world. So if you want to find out what makes the supermoon special, where can you catch it, and what will it look like, well, you got to stay tuned because we're going to be speaking to Professor Mashhoor Al Wardat, who will give us all the details on how the supermoon will be lighting up the UAE skies. He's a professor of astrophysics at the Department of Applied Physics and Astronomy at the Sharjah Observatory.
Yes, and we're also, would you like to actually book a ticket, fly without paying, and then be charged when you land? Well, now we have a UAE app just for that, and all you have to do is listen to Future Talk because we're going to be telling you about that in just a few moments. So I guess you can say all you need is $1.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this event, especially developers, because we're going to be talking to you guys and talking to you about what to expect from the Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. Now, Apple is going or is set to host its 5-day annual developer conference from June 7th. So I do believe we have about a week left. Now, that online event is with a tagline, which is Glow and Behold, and will be live streamed on the company's website and other platforms from its headquarters in Cupertino, California. So I'm really excited because what we do know is that the company is expected to reveal its new operating systems during that 5-day event.
Yes, indeed. So your MacBook, your iPad, your watch, and your iPhone are all getting a new look with the update to its operating system. And we're going to be telling you exactly what is going to be in store with this. Now, on June 7, Apple is not going to be launching any new iPhones or iPads, at least not anytime before September. But they are going to be revealing the iOS 15 for iPhones and the iPad OS 15 for tablets. Now, this is going to be giving our home screen a completely new design. So they're going to be redesigning the App Store. They're going to give us a lot more customization, even more than what we've seen with the iOS 14, since that was actually the birth of the widgets. But we're also going to be getting a first glimpse of what the Apple glasses will look like.
Yes, I mean, we're really excited because, well, I'm really excited because of the Apple glasses and how they are reportedly providing that first glimpse during the launch, and is a much-awaited augmented and virtual reality headset. And Apple glasses is a product that has been in the development pipeline for many years. Now, a couple of days ago, we did talk about Snap Spectacles or the Snapchat glasses that are AR and AI kind of collaboration with each other. And it is a helmet-type equipment which will be revealed by next year, and glasses will be actually revealed, or it might be revealed on June 7th. But again, I'm really excited because we do know that augmented reality is the future. And with Apple being such a big player in that technological sector, we will be seeing how much of an impact Apple glasses will have now and in the future, because we do know that Apple, once it does release a product, its competitors start to go crazy. They go straight to the drawing board and they try to compete with Apple. And so far, when it does come to Apple MacBook Pros or Apple MacBooks in general, the iMacs, the iPhones, and the iPads, Apple does succeed and is the main fish in comparison to Huawei, because Huawei, we do know, tried to get into that computer industry, and with Samsung, because it does blow Samsung out of the park when it does come to its phones and tablets. So let's see what it's going to do when it does come to the AR glasses.
Absolutely. I might be a bit biased, but we always know that Apple does it better. And a lot of companies have been having their go in trying out virtual reality and augmented reality glasses. But I'm super excited to see what Apple has in store for us. Another thing that we're going to be hearing about during the June 7th event is a new update for the Apple Watch. So recently, the newest update on the Apple Watch could actually count for you as you're washing your hands. And that was very COVID related. But the Watch OS 8 is going to be adding new health monitoring tools as well as sleep tracking to the Apple Watch. We've seen the iPhone maker just make a lot of advancements when it comes to the Apple Watch. Lots of changes. I mean, we've seen cheaper alternatives out there on the market with the Fitbit and the different Amazon watches, but Apple Watch is just, it hits different, you know, honey?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I wouldn't want any other wearable except an Apple Watch. I did try different wearables, always came back to the trusty Apple Watch, and we've talked about M1 a lot, the M1 chips for the Max, but now we're expected, or Apple is expected, to reveal the second generation of its in-house chips, and it's going to blow a lot of people out of the park because we do know that the M1 chips was a total success. So I'm really excited to see what Apple does have in store for that M2, and I guess we'll be going a little bit loco when we do see what Apple has in store for us.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
All eyes are on Mars, and our very own UAE Hope Probe has brought back lots of images from the red planet, and now it is actually preparing for the next step for its mission. Now, for those of you who don't know, the UAE Hope Probe has actually been the first Arab interplanetary mission to actually make it to the red planet, and it's been sending back lots of scientific images about the conditions of the atmosphere on the red planet and teaching us a lot more about planet Earth.
Yes, now the Emirates Mars mission is moving into its next phase now, which will be gathering data that will actually help scientists to study the atmosphere and weather of the red planet, which we know as Mars. Now, the Hope Probe, which did start orbiting Mars on February 9th, actually did activate its instruments a day later, which was on April 10th, and has already sent back thousands of images. But now that orbiter will actually spend 2 years collecting extensive data on gases, including hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon monoxide that do surround that planet. And once we get that data, it'll actually help scientists to understand why and how Mars, which may have once supported life, lost most of its atmosphere. And again, there was a speculation that once upon a time there was life on Mars, and scientists want to know what happened. Where did that life go? Because we do, or humans, one day actually want to live on Mars.
Yes, indeed. And the UAE has plans to hopefully build the first habitable settlement on the surface of Mars by the year 2117. Now, we've seen lots of images coming back from the Hope Probe. These images have been used by scientists and researchers all around the world to help us learn more about planet Earth. But now it's time for the UAE Hope Probe to start its real mission, to actually go and analyze all the different gases on the atmosphere or in the atmosphere of Mars. We've also seen the Hope Probe being able to capture a very rare phenomena, and a very important one, because it was actually capturing a unique 25-degree elliptical orbit that was allowing it to study the planet at different times of the day. So from sunrise to sunset, we had a better picture of what Mars looked like.
Yes, I mean, I'm very excited to see what these scientists are going to gather and how that information will tell us what happened, because I don't really have much excitement living on Mars, because by the time we can live on Mars, I'll probably be too old to get on that spaceship. But I want to know what happened and where that life went. But speaking about space, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're talking about a supermoon.
Yes, indeed.
This is Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
As we speak, a big lunar event is actually taking place right now around the world. People are witnessing a supermoon that has actually been called the flower supermoon. It's the largest looking one this year, and a lot of people have actually been having different questions on what is a supermoon to begin with and how many lunar eclipses can we witness every single year. To answer all those questions, we've got an expert on the show, Professor Mashhoor Al Wardat, who is the professor of astrophysics at the Department of Applied Physics and Astronomy at the Sharjah Observatory. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure having you. I've already seen on social media, especially Instagram, people in the Americas are already saying the bloody moon, the bloody moon. Get ready for the bloody moon. And I want to ask you, Professor, how do supermoons actually form? And when they form, what do they actually do?
Actually, the terminology or the term supermoon, sometimes you feel it is strange. There is nothing super. Actually, the moon, it looks like a bit bigger than other months. If you just compare the full moon of this month with the full moon of 3 months ago, you will see that it's a bit bigger. That's why we call the full or the supermoon. We have two terms here: the supermoon, the full moon, and the bloody moon. Three terms. So we have this phenomena when we have the full moon. That's the first thing. You should have the full moon. The second thing, when we talk about the supermoon, the moon orbits the Earth in an elliptical orbit. What does that mean? We have apogee, we have perigee. What does that mean? So the moon sometimes away from the Earth, so it looks like smaller.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's closer to the Earth, so it looks bigger. In this case, we call it, if a full moon happen at the time
When it's
closer, it's in perigee. We call it full moon, supermoon.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I like
actually-
that.
It's bigger, yeah.
And a lot of people, because it makes sense, a lot of people tend to think, oh, the moon grew bigger, but in reality,
No.
it's just that it's closer to us, and it was full, so it appears bigger to us.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
If nobody told you, okay, let's go to watch the moon, to have a look at the moon, you will not notice it, by the
Yeah.
way. You have to compare two moons, a full moon from this month, which is the super moon, with a full moon with the normal
months.
months. Yeah.
You know, I actually never noticed it until he pointed it out. Like sometimes you see the moon will be very far away,
Yep.
and then sometimes it will be a little bit closer. I never actually noticed that until he pointed that out.
Absolutely. Now-
And the third term,
yeah.
or the terminology of bloody moon, it's sometimes when it rays the moon, you will see it somehow reddish. That's
Yeah.
why, and that's why we call it took this terminology. Plus, when an eclipse happen, it will turn reddish clearly. This what's gonna happen after almost an hour and a half
At
from
3
now,
p.m.
almost. Yeah. So we are approaching the peak of the eclipse. So we have something else, the eclipse of the moon. So in this month, this full moon, we have several phenomena. The first one, the full moon, the supermoon, the eclipse.
And we want to know more about that lunar eclipse. So, what is it exactly, and how many times per year does it happen?
Okay, great. So we have solar eclipses and we have lunar eclipses.
Yeah.
Solar eclipses, we can say it ranges between 2 up to 5 times a year. 5 times for the solar eclipse is very rare. It happened last time in 1935.
Wow.
And the next one will be after almost 200 years.
Oh, we won't be alive.
190 years. Exactly. This is for the solar eclipse.
Yes.
For the lunar eclipse, sometimes we have none, and sometimes we have 4. In average, we have 2 lunar eclipses per year. So we have the one now
yeah.
in May. So after 6 months, in November, we'll be having the second one. And so in each year, we have 2 nodes. We call the nodes. These nodes were well known by the ancient peoples,
Yes.
our ancestors. They knew that we have 2 nodes of eclipses. So we have this day, today, we have the lunar eclipse. After 2 weeks exactly, we'll be having solar eclipse.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Professor, these happen 2 times a year, every year. It will
Yes,
happen.
every year, 2
So
times a year. But
yes.
there's a retrograde motion of these 2 nodes. each year there's a retrograde backward,
Yes.
10 days, almost 10.5 days.
Can it
Okay.
happen more than twice, or
Yep.
It
Yeah,
can, okay.
the same node can have more than 2 times of eclipses.
That's so interesting. Knowledge that I actually
Yeah.
never heard of before. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited to get to witness it at 3:15 p.m. That's going to be the peak, but there's also...
it's already started? Yes.
Yeah, it already started, and there's actually a place right here in Sharjah where you can go ahead and get a better, clearer look on it. If you have any questions for Professor Mashhoor, make sure you share them with us at 4215 Door Ittisalat or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio.
Yes, you guys are welcome for all questions. I'm really excited to get into it because I feel like ever since I started learning more about the moons, I'm becoming more and more interested. I mean, who would know? Do text in your questions 4215 Door Ittisalat or on Instagram at Pulse 95 Radio.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
As children, our favorite part of going to the desert or going camping was to sit down, look at the stars, and observe the moon. Today is a very unique day because it is one of 2 other days where we get a chance to witness a supermoon. And today's supermoon is very unique as well because it's called the flower supermoon. If you've always been wondering why do we associate different names for every supermoon, well, today your questions will be answered with Professor Mashhoor Al Wardat, who is Professor of Astrophysics at the Department of Applied Physics and Astronomy at the Sharjah Academy for Astronomy, Space Sciences and Technology. It's been a great conversation with you, Professor.
Thank you.
Yes, it's amazing having you on the show now. Do you want to tell us why it's actually known as a flower moon?
As you said, full moon sometimes given some names. These are related to some nations, some cultures. As I told you, when I was a child, we used to call it the harvest moon in our area because it's agricultural area. So these terminologies actually came from the ancient Americans, Red Indians. So they call it according to the flowers. They call it the flower moon or the reddish moon sometimes because of the
tint on it.
color
Yeah.
of some flowers. The harvest moon. So each full moon was given a term during these days. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it had something to do with, farmers, and they probably thought something spiritual, like the crops would be much better, more fruit, have more
Fruitful.
taste, juiciness. But I mean, that was just the way I thought of it. But again, we know that in about 45, 50 minutes, it will be at the peak. The supermoon or the bloody moon will be at the peak, 3:15 Gulf Standard Time. And obviously, it's still sunny outside.
Yeah.
It's very sunny outside. So are we able to look to see it a little bit?
Of the
Here in
moon.
Of the moon,
Sharjah?
yes.
No way.
No?
So, we'll be able to see the moon after sunset. So today the sun sets and the moon rise.
Yes.
Exactly at the same time because it's a full moon. So by the time it rises, the eclipse will be ended already. So the lucky people today are those who are living in the east coast of the America,
Of the Earth.
the
Yeah.
whole continental, plus Australia, plus China, some parts of India. They started already to see
Yeah.
the full bloody eclipse, as you
Lucky
would
them.
like to call it.
But right here in Sharjah, we still have a chance to see the full moon.
Yeah, of course.
So where can people go ahead and check it out?
To the desert. Okay. Plus, yeah. Certainly. Stargazing is amazing thing actually. I encourage every family, just as a family, to go to even it's hot actually. I was there a few days ago in the desert. The weather is more is fine after sunset.
A little bit windy,
Yeah,
Yeah.
So stargazing is something great. Just go to the desert and watch the full moon. You can watch it from here, from inside Sharjah, from the
Yes.
city. Plus, we have at Sharjah Academy for Astronomy, Space Sciences and Technology, we have today we will open our telescope for the public to be able to see the full moon using telescopes or by naked eye as they like. We have a wide area around the telescope, Sharjah Observatory. So everybody is welcome.
At what time will that take place?
We will start exactly after sunset.
Okay, so around 7.
Yeah, around 7 p.m.
I think after Adhan al-Maghrib.
Yeah, but
Right?
exactly.
Yes.
Nice. So people can actually go ahead and check it out themselves, see what it would look like. We've also heard that there are a lot of live streaming channels for people to get to witness the eclipse.
Yeah,
So they
right
can go.
now,
Yeah. I think the peak is at 3:15 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
It already started, yeah.
So obviously we can't see it right here in the UAE, unfortunately, but obviously there's probably some live streams on YouTube or whatever platform
NASA,
you want.
I think, is doing one.
Probably NASA as well. I haven't checked, to be quite honest. But again,
Yeah.
if you do want to watch that full moon, you can do just like what Professor told us. And I wish I have actually something to do, but if I could, I would. You know.
Today, at least go outside to the street.
Just
You know,
witness
yeah,
it.
after
Maybe.
sunset today, just
Yeah.
during the time of Isha time,
Yeah.
just go outside and have a look at the moon. It's really great, and take this image in your mind and to compare it after 2 or 3 months with the full moon at that time. You will find there's some difference.
Absolutely.
As I said, almost 12% bigger because it's closer.
True, and it's great to see how much of an impact just stargazing, witnessing the nature around us can have on our mental health, on our physical health, because it gives you a chance to disconnect with the world, and you're just
Really, it
observing
changes your
God's.
mood, yeah.
You're observing God's creation.
Yeah, he told us when you went and you watched it all the way near Liwa,
Yeah.
right? And 3 years ago, I believe.
No, it was in December 19, 2019.
2019,
yeah,
December 2019, around 2 years ago, and he told us how with the cold weather and the beautiful moon. I mean, it was experience, and he's been doing this his whole life. It is his life, and he still remembers it, and it's kind of implanted into his brain. So again, we do recommend you guys, if you can, to go see it in the desert, kind of take in the environment with everything. I think it will be a memorable event.
Experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It would be
Professor
great, yes.
Mashhoor Al Wardat, it's been such a great honor to have you with us
you.
today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We
Thank you
appreciate it.
so much.
Hopefully, we'll have you maybe in November when we see the next
Supermoon.
one.
Hopefully,
Yes, Supermoon. Thank
Inshallah.
you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, what do we got for them, Omnia?
We're talking all about being able to fly without paying first. There's a very unique app right here in the UAE that will allow you to book a ticket and fly without paying.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can jump in a plane, go to said destination, and not pay a single filth until you actually reach that destination. You'll be paying for, and we're talking about a UAE app. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at my beard right now. I don't know why it looks like that.
It looks normal.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. But anyways, back to what we're talking about. If the flight is canceled or delayed by more than 3 hours, you won't actually have to pay at all. So this is the first time and only time you'll be at the airport praying that your
gets
flight
delayed.
is canceled or delayed, because who doesn't want to travel for free?
I totally agree with you. I was just going to say, a lot of the times whenever we're flying and we find out that our flight is delayed, that's like one of the worst possible news that you could get, because the worst thing you could get is that the flight is canceled. But now if it gets delayed for just an hour, you'll be compensated. If it gets delayed for 3 hours, you won't pay a thing and you'll travel completely for free. Yes, this is a reality, and it's a reality right here in the UAE through an application that is actually called Colibra. So Colibra.
Yes, and it does allow UAE residents to book air tickets and pay only if their flight does arrive on time. Now, it does guarantee that these travelers, that if the flight is canceled or even delayed for more than 3 hours, they do not have to pay for their plane tickets at all. Now, this service is actually entirely free for all users of the app, allowing them to book tickets within 30 days before departure and arrival, and then pay the regular ticket fare if their flight arrives on time or within 3 hours of its scheduled departure. Now, this is a great way to market yourself. I'll give them that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think often people's flights are 3 hours late or canceled
True.
in general, but it's a great initiative from them. And again, the e-commerce or these apps that are coming out is killing the travel agencies, the physical travel agencies. Now, I remember back in the day, and some people still use them till this day. You go to a travel agency, they set up everything from A to B. All you have to do is pay for that fee. But now you can do everything in the palm of your hands, literally.
Yes, indeed. And my favorite part of this app is that it's not associated with a certain airline or only if you have tickets from a specific company. If you have any flight ticket and you go ahead and upload it on the application, which once again, it's available for all phones, Android or Apple, you can find it on the Google Play Store as well as Apple's App Store. If you just upload your ticket and keep tracking it there, if it gets delayed, you won't have to pay a penny or a dirham. And over the last few years, we've seen the UAE dominating the aviation industry and tourism industry as well. They have world-class airlines, world-class destinations.
Etihad, Emirates, Arabiya, it's all amazing.
You name it. And every airport in the UAE is so advanced when we talk about technology, whether it was the Sharjah Airport, Dubai International Airport, Abu Dhabi International Airport. So now to see, as residents, you can go ahead and compensate any journey if it gets cancelled or delayed by more than 1 hour by simply downloading an app and logging in your information. I mean, what country do you get the chance to do that?
Yeah, I mean, and the app is actually currently available on both Google Play and the App Stores. And so far, there's already 100,000 downloads and 40,000 active users and 50,000 trips already registered. So, again, why would you pay in advance if you still haven't arrived? Ladies and gentlemen, I do recommend you guys to go and download that app. One more time, the app is called Colibra or Colibra.
Yeah.
I don't know how they want to pronounce
idea.
that. You'd think they have something easier.
And we're approaching summer, so a lot of people, after a year of not traveling, are slowly considering going to certain destinations.
Yeah. And now Greece is quarantine free.
Ooh.
For the UAE only. Imagine that.
See?
Yeah.
Once again,
Go
UAE.
to Mykonos, Santorini.
UAE once again making life a lot easier with the vaccination drive as well as applications like this. Let us know, what do you think of this app, and are you ever going to go ahead and pay for a ticket before flying? I know I won't. What about you, honey?
I don't know if I'm going to be flying in general until COVID is done. I don't want to go to
risk it
to Greece and then all of a sudden they say, hey, guess what? We're on lockdown. You're stuck here for 4 months. Let us know your guys' thoughts. 4215 do it or on Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. But this does conclude Future Talk for today, ladies and gentlemen. We got the halftime show, the only place to be at 3, commencing in 4 minutes. So keep Pulse 95 locked because we got a lot in store for you.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.